What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Hold the Phone podcast. I'm joined today by my co-host Ryan. How you doing, buddy?
Another day in paradise, man. Just enjoying this relatively dry week in the sports community.
Yeah, it was.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It was a very dry week. I mean, we had a little bit of news with the whole Lev Bell being officially, I guess, well, he's not released. He's just not being re-signed by the Pittsburgh Steelers, so he's officially a free agent whenever free agency starts.
I think we got about 17 days. I've been counting down. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, it's exciting.
With all that cap room the Bills have, I'm pretty eager to get started. But Le'Veon Bell, I mean, that's huge. The fact that I think it was the Steelers decided not to franchise or transition tag him, which was, like you said, and like making him a free agent. I think that's huge because I think that's kind of like the Steelers, like waving the white flag, like we give up, like you can do what you want now. And I mean, he sent out some pretty interesting tweets. Didn't he say in one tweet that he was finally free at last?
Yeah.
Like something about that.
Yeah, he like quote tweeted the thing saying he's a free agent, and then he was like, free at last, free at last.
But then I know there were some reports this week that said that he had kind of let himself go and is like a year off, and now he weighs about 260 pounds, which was crazy.
Yeah.
And I think it honestly, like if he can't shave that off soon, like it's gonna hurt his possibilities. You know, like he was in it for the money, and now I mean that's gonna hurt his chances of getting that big money because it's kind of like teams would be taking a risk on him. Kind of. I mean, I know he's still one of the best backs in the game, but I don't know, when you put on like 30 pounds in the off season, there's something to worry about. What do you think?
Yeah, he's gonna be out here looking like Eddie Lacy. No. I do think he's going to have to prove that his body is still in shape and that he can still do it. I mean, he'll obviously have to take a physical before anybody signs him, but it'll be interesting to see how much he actually comes in at, like, his weight. What do you think some, like, potential landing spots for him are?
I know we've been talking about this for weeks, but I do think the front runners are going to be either the Colts, the Jets, and the biggest dark horse is one that you keep mentioning was the Houston Texans if they let go of Lamar Miller.
Yeah.
I think those are the top three spots. Those are honestly, minus the Jets, those are the top two spots that I would like to see him at, either with the Colts or in Houston. I just think it's more likely. But also, I don't know if the Colts are going to go after him because they have Marlon Mack, who's being pretty productive on his rookie deal, so they might not want to forfeit the cash. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, Mac is way cheaper. I did hear something. I forgot where I heard it, but a dark horse apparently is the Baltimore Ravens trying to team him up with Lamar Jackson back there.
That would be really interesting. I would kind of like to see that, but at the same time, I'm not a huge Ravens fan, so
yeah,
there's that. But also, that would be the biggest like punch in the throat for the Steelers. For him to go inside the division,
yeah,
that would just stink.
Have to play him twice a year, and I mean they'd have to spend. I think it's a lot of their cap room, like 80% of their cap to get him. But it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to give Lamar Jackson a nice weapon, very versatile weapon, especially if he can come in shape, ready to play. It'd be nice.
They would be great together. I mean, like he could just. Because Le'Veon's like the king of dump-offs. Like, you could just, anytime Lamar gets in trouble, he could just dump it off to Le'Veon.
Exactly.
And there you go.
Now, speaking of the Steelers, they have officially met with Antonio Brown and came to the conclusion that they are going to trade him. Apparently, according to Antonio Brown's Instagram, he met with Mr. Rooney and they talked things out and they both agree for a mutual trade, which is interesting. Very, because you would imagine that if they're going to trade him, it's going to be before the draft, try and get more picks. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, the trade is definitely going to go down before the draft. I'm anticipating a trade to be done like before free agency starts or in the opening day or two of free agency. I think that he's eager to get out of there, and I really like the Steelers' mindset on this one. Like, with honestly both Le'Veon Bell and AB. If they don't want to be there, don't force them to be there. You want guys on your team that are like willing to be there and willing to fight for the city and stuff like that. So if AB doesn't want to be there, send him off. I think one team that I've been saying I would love to see him with the entire time, I know it's been like the most popular option because AB clearly wants to be there, is San Francisco. I would love to see a Jimmy G, AB connection, and then Marquise Goodwin on the side with Matt Breida and Jerick McKinnon. Like that is the offense we've been waiting for with Kyle Shanahan. But I don't know. What do you think about it?
I'm telling you right now, Ryan. Houston Texans, trade your first-round pick and like a fourth and a sixth to the Steelers right now and pair up D-Hop and Antonio Brown with Deshaun Watson. Shoot, you can leave Lamar Jackson back there in the backfield. He wouldn't even need a good offensive line at that point. Just throw it up.
I like that. Especially Will Fuller coming off that ACL or
exactly.
ACL or Achilles, something like that.
Put Will Fuller in the slot and just let him run streaks all day. But
Jeez Louise.
No, that's my dream, is that I'd love to see him go to the Texans, but the Steelers came out this week and said that they won't trade him to the Patriots or anybody in the division, and they would prefer to trade him to the NFC. So your choice of the 49ers probably makes the most sense. Who are some other teams? The Packers. I can see the Packers. They have I think they have 2 first-round picks and a couple seconds, so I think they could make some noise trying to acquire him. Because I do think it will take a first-round pick.
I don't know, though. A lot of people are saying that like they could get away with the third. Like, because I mean, no offense to AB, but he is kind of on the older side. I think he'll be 31 by the time the new new season starts, excuse me. And I mean, he's still got a pretty big cap amount, so.
Well, if it's only going to take a third, David Tapper, the owner of the Carolina Panthers, needs to get on the phone today and call Rooney up and be like, hey, we've been friends. Well, the teams have been friends, not really us, but I will give you a third, fourth, and fifth. Let me have Antonio Brown.
How would you feel about that as a Panthers fan?
I'd be ecstatic for the on the field. The off the field, I need him to stop having like a mental breakdown and posting on Twitter and Instagram every 5 seconds. Plus, I don't know how him and Cam Newton would do because Cam got in literal a fist fight with Steve Smith one day at practice. So, I don't know. They'd either be best friends or they'd hate each other. But I'd be interested.
Cam seems like a no BS kind of guy, and AB brings a lot of the diva stuff with him.
Yeah, for the right price, I'd be interested. But I don't think I'd give more than a third. Like, I don't want to give the first or the second away. But if we could do like a third, sixth, or like a third and 2 sixths, like a sixth from 2 years down the road, I'd be interested. Just to bring him in. I mean, worst case, you trade him next year. But I don't know. It'd be interesting.
A lot of people are saying that Buffalo are kind of front runners, and I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum. I don't want him. He's old. He's a diva. He costs a lot. I would much rather pick up a few receivers in this super receiver-heavy draft. Or, I mean, obviously we're going to pick one up anyway, but also, like, grab some people in free agency like Tyrell Williams or Devin Funchess. I'm not very interested. A lot of Bills fans are, but not me. I'm not interested.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd be a good fit with the Bills. Josh Allen's so young. I don't know if I'd want to throw that diva receiver in there who's going to demand the ball. Like, just let him build with the young weapons. Let's get some youth around him. If I'm the Bills, I'd be more interested in Le'Veon Bell than AB.
Same. I agree.
So I guess we'll make a little slight change, and we'll talk about some college basketball, and then we'll bounce back to the combine. But what was it, Tuesday? Wednesday? When was the Carolina Duke game? Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Yeah, so about 30 seconds into the Carolina Duke game, Zion Williamson makes a cut and blows his shoe apart and then did not return. Carolina ended up coming out on top of that game, but a lot of people were saying that Zion should just shut it down and not play anymore, which I think is a little crazy, but I'd like to get your thoughts.
As a UVA fan, and I'm sure you're sitting in the same boat I am as a UNC fan, I am screaming at Zion, please stay off the court. Because he is literally the only reason that we have 2 losses. It's the fact that because there are only 2 losses this year. UVA has played, I think, like 9 or 10 ranked teams, and then 2 of our games have been against Duke, and we lost to them both times narrowly. But I would like him to sit down personally, but I know that that's not the case. But I don't know. I feel like the smartest thing here would be to just kick back and relax, watch Cam Reddish and RJ Barrett take over the show and help their draft stock. But at the same time, it might hurt yours if they help theirs. They might. You know what I'm trying to say? RJ might take over that top draft spot instead of Zion.
I mean,
he did put up 30 points last night.
I see what you're saying, but at the same time, even if you sit out, you're gonna play basketball. You have a mild sprain in your MCL. You're supposed to literally be back next week. So if you quit the team and go, you're just gonna be playing pickup games and scrimmages and stuff like that, getting ready for the draft in 3 months. When you could be playing for Duke, chance to win a championship, and play against some of the best players in the entire world, players that are going to go to the NBA and get better. Either way you're going to be playing basketball, so why not try and be a part of history and go win a national championship?
I agree with that, and this Duke team definitely could get there if Zion's healthy.
Let's hope not, for our sake, but I could see it happening. I think they're still the favorites. In Vegas, the odds, I think they're the favorite. It's them and Gonzaga, I think. But I don't know. It's crazy. And
not to get off on a tangent, but Gonzaga's always been overrated to me.
I agree.
Always.
I agree. They play in a really bad conference, so.
I think they've played one ranked team, which was Duke, and they ended up winning that game. But other than that, that's a huge win.
Yeah, but it was. But
other than that,
it was early in the season. So
yeah, that was one of the first 2 games.
Those Duke kids were 17 basically still. They were just getting their feet wet.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, the amount of celebrities that came out to watch the Duke UNC game, I'm guessing they were there to see Zion, especially Spike Lee and people like that, but it was crazy.
Obama was there.
I know, Obama, in the closet Carolina fan, but I hope. No, but it was crazy, and I can't believe that tickets were selling for $3,000. That was insane.
Well, that also brings up another controversy. Should college basketball, all college athletes, be paid?
Dude, we could dedicate an entire episode to this, but yeah, I stand strongly with the yes, they should be compensated in some way.
I agree. I think I don't know how much you pay them. Just because, you are paying for tuition and stuff, but I do think it is, with how much work they put in, how much practice, how much film review, how much traveling they do, I think it is necessary to, at least give them something. You at least got to give them, some cash on the side.
I don't even know if you need to pay that, give them health insurance in case they, football players, in case you break your neck and you can never walk again. You just get cut, and they don't really care about you. Give them health insurance and then let them use their likeness. Let Zion sign a shoe deal in college if he wants. It doesn't make sense to me that an English major can go write a book and sell the rights to his book for millions of dollars, but the basketball player can't sign a shoe deal. That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, he can't even make money from autographs he signed.
Yeah, so exactly.
If he, he can't even be nice. He could either choose to be nice and do it for free, or he could choose to not give autographs, which is perfectly fine too, because it's his right to give autographs away. But it kind of gives him a bad image if he chooses not to give autographs, even though he's just making a decision for himself,
Yeah. One more thing about the Zion thing before we move on. A lot of people are saying this is gonna hurt Nike. Their shoe stock, their shoe stock went down the next day, but that's just because of the stock market. But a lot of people are yeah, Zion has no chance of signing with them now. I'm it's a freak thing. Nobody thought his shoe was going to blow apart, I promise.
If I am Puma right now, I am jumping on every chance to connect with Zion. they have a huge marketing strategy that they could put into place right now, which is literally like I think I heard someone else mention this, like marketing it as the shoe that can contain Zion. Because right now, I mean, like that was just a perfect example. I know it was a freak accident and no one really saw it coming, and it's not really even Nike's fault. It was just like he's just that big, but like I feel like they really have a chance to like do something special. I mean, not even Puma, Under Armour might be able to do it too, or maybe if LeVar Ball wants to get on that, but I don't know if he's really in place to do that. But I mean, other people that aren't Nike, this is a huge chance for them.
See, I think Nike should be smart and go to Zion and be like, look, this could be the start of your commercial. We have the beginning of the commercial. You break your shoe in this game. We have Obama saying his shoe broke in the commercial. And then here's the new Zion shoe that's indestructible. Nobody can break it. But it would be a very tough sales pitch, especially because he got hurt. So I do think he'll end up signing with probably either Adidas, like you said, Puma, maybe Under Armour, maybe even New Balance. They've been signing some people, but I don't know.
Kawhi.
Yeah, I don't think he goes to Nike. I think you're right. I think he'll end up with Adidas or somebody. But if I was Nike, I'd try and sell it to him.
We'll just have to wait and see, man. I'm excited to see, from a business perspective, as a business major, I'm excited to see where he goes and how they market that. But
oh yeah,
let's dive in. Let's go back to the NFL and let's dive into the combine.
Yeah, man. So I think you were going to lead this one off, so you can take it. Ball is yours.
Yeah. All right. So, as you guys know, it's the off season, but now we're kicking into full on draft season, draft mode. Getting to know all the players. The combine is really where we get our first look at a lot of these players because the college football is so broad that we don't really get a chance to get exposed to all these different players that may become part of our team later on. But this is our first glance at, all these star athletes. So on Tuesday, the combine kicks off. The first group, which is the special teamers, offensive linemen, and running backs, they arrive for orientation and measurements and stuff like that. And I think they don't really kick things off until Thursday, but I think they come in groups of 3 by position, just in increments throughout the week. But I think we're going to get a lot of action later on in the week. And that was kind of my intro. I just wanted to see where you're at, Alex. What are you looking for? Who are you looking at?
So like obviously I want to see Kyler Murray. I want to know his height, his weight, how big he is. If I'm him, I heard rumors that he's not going to throw, which I think is smart. I would literally just run. Actually, I don't know if I'd even run. I would literally show up, take the Wonderlic test, get my height and weight, and then I'm out. I don't think I'd throw or run. I think I'd save both of those for my pro day when I'm not standing next to other giant quarterbacks like Daniel Jones, who's 6'5", or Tyree Jackson, who's 6'7". Like, I would not want to measure up against those guys because scouts are going to see that and they're going to be like, oh, he's really small. So, like, if I just show up for the weigh-in, the Wonderlic test, and the height, then they get what they need, and then I'll show you the rest of my pro day when it's under my control. If I was Kyler
Don't forget the interviews. They got a lot of interviews.
Oh, yeah, the interviews. The weird questions.
That's a big thing.
Like, how would you kill people? Like, they're so weird, dude. They're always like, how if I gave you 3 weapons, which one would you use to murder this person? I'm like, why do you need to know this? This is so weird. Dude, seriously, they ask people stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I know. We caught you picking your nose in the 2nd grade. Why were you doing that?
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, they'll be like, your mother used to work at a TJ Maxx. How do you think that will affect you? Like, what?
Yeah, the questions are getting kind of absurd. I think they asked Drew Lock last month why he cheated on a 9th grade math test.
Yeah, see, that's wild. But yeah, I think Kyler Murray is probably my biggest non-sleeper. I know at the end of this we'll get to our sleeper picks, or like who we're interested in watching, but who's the big star that you're interested in?
The big star, I'm actually not a big Kyler Murray fan, and I kind of disagree with you on this one. I think that he chose to not do baseball. So I think he has to dive into this football thing with all confidence. He's got to go in there knowing that he's undersized, and he has to just wow everybody. I think that he just goes in there, and I mean, if he is the Heisman that everyone's talking about, I think he'll go in there and blow the roof off of it. So I think that if he wants to do it, has to do it 100%. He's got to go in all out. But anyways, people that I'm looking at, I'm really interested in Dwayne Haskins because I really don't think that he's getting the recognition he deserves. Because he really is really good, and I'd like to see him go top 10 and show off his talent. From a non-quarterback perspective, I'm looking at Jonah Williams only because the Bills need an offensive line, so I'd like to see how he does. But one kind of under-the-radar guy, not really the biggest sleeper in the world, but I think he's projected into the first or maybe early to mid-second, is Deebo Samuel, the wide receiver out of South Carolina. He's one of the fastest receivers in this draft, so I'm kind of curious to see what his 40 time is and how he measures up.
That actually leads right into my sleepers, because both of mine are wide receivers. Well, I guess they're not sleepers. Like, we already know about DK Metcalf and that giant picture of him, but I'm very curious because he's 6'4", 230. I'm curious to see what his 40 time is and to have him go through the physical, because in college he dealt with foot injuries and neck injuries. So the medical exam at the combine will be interesting, because if anything comes back, he's going to drop far. And I'm curious to see how fast he is, because at 6'4", 230, if he can run like a 4.5, he's probably a really good pickup, because that'd be crazy. And then my other one is, I don't even know if you know about this guy. His name is Andy Isabella. Yeah. So a lot of people are saying he's like a Wes Welker type, I guess because he's white and he's from Massachusetts. But he had a really good Senior Bowl. Like, it was crazy how good he did. But a lot of people have him going day 3, like between 5 and 7, and I'm wondering if he can wow people at the combine and just boost his draft stock enough to get into day 2. So yeah, there's 2 guys I'm looking at. DK and Andy Isabella.
It could be the next Ricky Pro. But also, going back to DK Metcalf, I saw somewhere that they're anticipating his 40 time to be anywhere from a 4.38 to a 4.43, I think, which is right around what you were saying. So if he, I agree with you. If he can put up numbers like that on his 40, I think he's just a monster. And that, I mean, if his physical comes back good and he's not like super injury prone, then he'll be a top 15 pick, no doubt.
Another guy I'll be interested to see is nobody's really talking about him, but Will Grier. I think he's a quarterback from West Virginia. I think he'll get drafted. I'm just curious to see. I think he definitely has to show some stuff, because he's got Murray, Haskins, Drew Lock, and Daniel Jones right now ranked above him in like the rankings. So I'd be curious to see how he does.
He seems like a day 2 pick to me, 2nd or 3rd round.
I agree, but I don't know. I see somebody like the Saints taking him and just let him sit behind Drew Brees, something like that.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I was actually going to talk about Will Grier's, I think either number 1 or number 2 target, Gary Jennings, the wide receiver from West Virginia. My best friend knows Gary from high school. Like, they went to high school together, and he said that here in Stafford, near Fredericksburg, and he said that Gary pretty much was the entire football team in West Virginia. And I think it was around mid-November, West Virginia had a game. I can't remember if it was some school from Texas. It was either Texas or Baylor or something like that. Where they had that crazy game that went to overtime, and the coach went for 2 when they tied it up, and they ended up winning. But the game-winning touchdown catch was by Gary Jennings, and to me that was like a big statement. That's when I knew, because I mean there was speculation that he was going to go to the draft, but that's when I really knew that I was like, this guy's definitely going to make it. So I'm interested to see how he does. Also, we got some UB, University of Buffalo products that I'll be representing. Quarterback Tyree Jackson and wide receiver Anthony Johnson. I'm excited to see how they do. And not to mention my UVA product, safety, defensive back, Juan Thornhill. So I'm excited to see how all those guys do.
Dude, that Tyree Jackson guy, he's 6'7". That's crazy. That's like Brock Osweiler height. But yeah,
Well, I mean, we're pretty tall guys, and he towers over us.
exactly. That's crazy. But I mean, that's what people look for. They look for them tall quarterbacks. That's the whole reason Brock Osweiler got drafted so high.
Every time I hear his name, I cringe a little bit.
It's crazy to think that he started games last year for the Dolphins. You have anything else?
I think that's it. I think we're just gonna chill and sit back and let this week come to us, and we'll get back to you guys next week, hopefully with a little bit more juicy information. But thank you guys for watching, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, hopefully it's a busier week with the combine. Maybe we'll get an AB trade, all the owners in Indianapolis. But yeah, y'all have a great weekend, and we'll see you later.